Hello everyone and welcome to the Kineo office hours. I'm glad you are able to come to today's presentation, and I'll start off by introducing myself. My name is Tammy Belgard and I'm a platform consultant for Kineo. I assist clients with their implementation and training. I work along with Taylor Craig, who is the usual presenter for the Kineo office hours. But today I have the privilege of showing you how to use the lesson activity. I'll start by giving you a little brief background on what office hours are. Office hours starts with a 15-minute presentation on a Totara featured plugin, followed by 45 minutes of open floor discussion where I can take questions and discuss with you any issues that you have, and this is for the attending Kineo clients. The 45 minutes session is only for the Kineo clients, but the 15-minute presentation will be made available for anyone who would like to watch it on YouTube. So today on Kineo office hours, we're going to take a closer look at the lesson activity. Now, the lesson activity is a tool that can be used to show mastery of learning. What that basically means is material is taught and learners understanding is evaluated before they are able to move on to the next unit. What I'm going to show you is a simplified version of lessons, but there are those who've been able to take it to a complex level and provide an in-depth and well-designed format. And I'm hoping that today you will go away and see ways to implement the lesson on your own organization. So let's get started, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start by showing you the learner's viewpoint. Oh, let me go over that. We're going to go over the learner's experience with the lesson activity, and then we're going to set up the lesson activity, and then review reports and statistics, and then we'll take the questions and so forth. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to sign on as a user. The first thing you see is my screen as a user, and I'm signed on as a learner 2. So I'm into my course, and what you're going to see here is that this is a lesson plan. You can identify that it's a lesson plan based on the icon that's on the left-hand side. I apologize today, my voice is a little bit scratchy. So if I click on the lesson plan, it's called It's a Heart Attack. What I've done is you can go into this, I can watch a video basically on what a heart attack is and so forth, and how to see the signs of it. This is actually a link into a YouTube video. Once I've completed watching the video, I can continue and go to the lesson. Now what you'll see on this one, I can ask a question on here. I'm visiting my grandfather, and I know it says he had difficulty breathing and seemed confused, and what do you do? And this is going to be based on the previous video. It asks me a series of questions. Do I perform CPR? Do I lay him down to help him relax? And it's important to get him to walk around or activities. What is the next move that I need for him to do? Well, let's just say it's call 911. I submit my question. It tells me what my answer is, and it gives me some response back. It says that's a great answer. It's important to have the first responders there as soon as possible. So I continue on my lesson plan. And now it's going to say your grandfather stopped responding, is not breathing. You'll need to perform CPR. Describe the next 3 steps I'll need to take for this. Well, if I don't know, I can sit and watch this video that's going to quickly describe to me how to perform CPR. Once I've done watching the video, I can answer the questions. And the last one is to now, since this is an essay question, I'm not sure exactly what the responses are going to be of a learner. I just have to allow them to enter it in as an essay. It comes back with the answer. It says your essay will be graded by your teacher. I can hit continue. And at this point, like I said, this is just a simplified lesson. It's going to quickly tell me that congratulations, I've reached the end of the lesson. It tells me I've gotten 1 out of 2 of the questions correct. Basically, the second one has to be answered by the instructor. And then I have choices for links down here. I can go on to how to respond discussion. I can return to the course, or I can view my grades. So let's just click on View Grades. Based on this, I can see what my grade is on this particular lesson. It'll be updated once I have gotten the response from my instructor on the essay. I'm going to click the back button. I'm going to go to a discussion. Here it takes me into discussion where I can click on it and I can respond to discussion. I can answer the next lesson. I can post it to the forum. And now I'm going to go back into the course. Now that was a short form or a short lesson, and basically what I wanted to do was just demonstrate to you how it can be used for a learner. Now let's take a look at it from an instructor or an administrator viewpoint. So on this, I open up my course. Make sure that you've turned editing on. Once your editing is on, you are able to add resources and activities into the course. And so I can do here, I can click on Add an Activity and Resource. Click on Lesson. When you click on Lesson, it gives you a brief description of what a lesson can do for you. This is very thorough on this. It tells you that it can do self-directed learning. It can provide scenarios or simulations, as well as differential revisions. So based upon an answer, I can take them on to a different branch. So if I add a new lesson, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit Expand All so I can see all my options. I can create a lesson that I want to. So I'm just going to give it a name. You have the ability to add different files to this. I would tell you right now, it's probably easier to do that within the branch, but here's where you can add files that'll pop up right away. If you want to, you can have a progression bar depending on how large of a lesson that you're going to create. You can provide a progress bar at the bottom of your lesson, which will show the user how much more that they have to go through. You can also display the ongoing grade or score as they're going forward. Display menu on the left-hand side, that's basically going to tell them the different branches that they're going to. You can also set this up so your lesson shows up like a slideshow, a PowerPoint slideshow, and then you can do the manipulation and the branching there. You can also say number of answers, basic default information. One of the things that I want to show you here is it says use default feedback. And I would check this to yes, and the reason is as you give answers, if you don't have any feedback or response that you're going to assign, you want it to basically say correct or incorrect. You would use a default feedback in that method. The linked next activity is what you saw by that learner. When the learner wanted to go to the forms, they could click on it at the very last screen of the lesson. So here, you could change that. The next lesson isn't defined here, but if there was one here, then you would click and choose that lesson so it can automatically link them to that. Like a lot of the different plugins that are available or activities, you can set availability dates. You can set it to a time limit. You can put a password protect on the lesson if you want to and provide that. If you've got a previous lesson in this course, You can say that a prereq for this, taking this lesson, is to take the other one. So I can say it's a heart attack is required before they can take this lesson so that they're done in order. You can also say that they were required to spend so much time in it and different information even on that lesson. The flow control is important on a lesson. What you're going to do here is set how the learner is going to see the lesson as it goes forward. Do you want them to review? Do you want them to be able to go back? Here I have it set to no by default, but you can change that to yes if you want them to go back and to review. Do you want them to provide options to take a question again? If you provide that option for them to take the question again, what's going to happen is if you've got link steps, this will also give them the ability to retake it. An action for correct answers, you can say follow the normal path, or maybe there's additional pages that you want them to show up on if it's a correct answer. This is where I'm talking about at the beginning, where you can make it very complex. These settings can be reviewed later and updated as you learn the lesson module even further. It's got a general grade that you can put on here. As you're putting the grades in here as you would other activities, I want you to pay attention to the custom scoring. That has to be turned on in order for them to score on the questions that are within the lesson. You also have the ability to add restrictive access. Before it was just the lesson that you could have set, but in here you can actually restrict access based on other activities outside of the lesson. And you can set your completion tracking, whether it's manual, whether it's required, certain conditions are met, or if they even receive a grade. So these are pretty much the basic setups that you've seen in other Totara plugins or activities. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to return to the course, and we're going to take a look at the lesson that's already been built. So once you've got a lesson built, to get back into it and modify it, you can click on the actual title. For this one, it's a heart attack. This is the view for editing. You'll notice at the top you have 4 different tabs that you can use. You have your preview, which what I'm looking at now, edit, reports, and grade essays. One of the things that's nice about lessons, it's got great statistics and reporting capabilities. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at the edit. Edit's going to show me all the pages that I've currently got set up or what I can set up. I can continually build on the lesson that I have out there, or I can make modifications to it. Right now I have 5 different pages that are set up. You'll notice here what the page title is. If you make those descriptive, it'll be easy for you to follow the branches. The different page types that are available. I'm using content, multiple choice, essay, and end of branch. What this is going to do is it's going to help me set up and modify and format this. Content's basic information that you're going to be provided, as well as different buttons at the bottom for navigation. The other thing that it's going to show me is the jump. Once they've completed a page, where are they going to go to from there? On the multiple choice, I had 4 choices. From those 4 choices, one of them will take me to the next page, which will be in sequential order, which will be can't breathe. If it's going to say this page, those are for incorrect answers. It will continue to stay on this page and let me answer the question correctly. Once that process goes through, I can go to can't breathe, and then it'll jump to congratulations, which is the last page. You'll notice there's another page here that says you have my sympathy. Apparently you didn't perform CPR or get your grandfather to the hospital. So this is another content page with additional information. On this one, you'll notice that this one will branch me back to the main page and let me start over again. This is actually called the collapse view for editing. If I hit expanded, under expanded, it'll show me all the pages. So on this, you can see the pages, you can see the context, if you want to import questions or add more context, you can. And then you get another view, very good view of the different pages that are available. If I go back to collapsed, and following the logic here, if I want to add additional pages, I can click on the action button and add the different page formats that are available. So I can do content page clusters. Clusters are basically different branches that you can do within there, end of branches, and questions. If I click on reports, under reports, I have the ability to see which learners have already done and what they've accomplished. It allows me to delete, if I want to, different selections of their lessons that they've taken. I get to see the responses to their questions. And then down here, it tells me what the average times are, high score, low score, and so forth. If I click on detailed statistics, it'll go through it, and based upon the questions, it'll give me that information. On the second page where I had this answer, call 911, it shows that 100% answered that one. So basically I can go through here and see what people are answering and what percentages that is. To actually grade the essay questions, I can click on Grade Essay, and at this point I can go in here, take a look at their responses, and then email them the grade that they got on their essay. Let's say I want to do some additional modifications on this or the settings. I can go back under the lesson administration, click on Edit Settings, and from there the original settings to set up the lesson can be modified at this point. If I want to add the progress bar now, I can add that, and I can change and tweak my settings. That today is the basic overview that we have for the lesson activity. If you have any questions now, we can go over them, and I'd be happy to answer any outstanding ones that you have. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson on the lesson activity and find a use for it. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.